Welcome back, Bravehearts. It's Lorraine here with Cheryl, and we are doing the women's pelvic restoration and disease prevention lecture. And so in 2 more days, we are starting the pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass here in Stuart, Florida. So we always like to come on and educate people on why you'd want to take this class, right? So women, we have been under siege by the medical system for, I'm going to say more than 50 years, probably more like 75 years. And cut, poison, and burn is their method, their solution to what's going on. And we don't need to be removing bits and pieces. All we have to do is honor these beautiful bodies and give them what it needs so the body can do the restoration that it knows how to do. So we're just going to ramble on about different conditions and how this thing all started.
Well, I don't call it rambling.
I know.
So for me, because I'm as most women, you go through life, you have your periods. Cramping was supposedly normal, right? So I had cramps. That was supposed to be normal. The fact that I was doubled over and I had hormone fluctuations and I had good days and bad days. And, they had names for every woman that was on her period, and they blamed your emotional state because you were on your period.
Yeah.
And
PMS,
right? And then, I get pregnant, and I was very fortunate to not have, difficult pregnancies. However, I had very large children, and they still had to make their way out. And so over time, the midwives called them skid marks. They're really just scar tissue and things that happen as we as women go through what we do, right? And then we see that women are taught to suffer and endure. It's like we're supposed to endure, like it's normal for us to be in pain. It's normal for us to have to endure all the side effects that come from what we do as women, and because we're not educated in how to take care of ourselves. And this is why this course is so important. There's no reason for pain during intercourse. There's no reason for menopause. You don't need to have a hot flash. You don't need to be on medication. You certainly don't need hormone therapy replacement and all the other things that they say your body stops producing, when that is not true. Our bodies are fully capable of self-healing and to get ourselves back in hormonal balance. Does that mean we do have to look outside of ourselves for some really fabulous nutraceuticals or something to help supplement that? Of course we do. But we have that knowledge. And Lorraine and I are so passionate about bringing this to every woman on the planet. We want pain-free pregnancy. We want pain-free birth. We want healthy children. And we want you to be happy, pain-free, vibrant, excited, into your 90s, okay?
Or more.
Or more.
I'm shooting for more. Yeah.
You and me both.
I know that's where I'm going. I just totally believe wholeheartedly that the body knows how to heal. Our biggest problem is, number one, we don't think it can. But, we've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. We've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. Here's the pill, you'll get out of pain. Here's the surgery, we'll take that bad apple away. And really, it's not a bad apple.
Right? And then you end up with more issues from taking either the side effects of the medication, or you went ahead and had surgery. Some of the information that I hear when women come to see me and they have fibroids, and their doctor said, well, you need a complete hysterectomy. If you have heavy bleeding, that's the only answer. And I'm so baffled and so thankful that they don't immediately believe everything the doctors say, because women are starting to question. We are starting to question. We do want to take our power back. We do want to self-heal. That somewhere along the line, this misinformation, and please understand, we're not dissing doctors. If there's an emergency and you've been in a car accident or something, you're life-threatening, that's what they're trained for. They're trained to come in at that emergency and put you back together. What they're not taught is normal health. They're not taught that your body can self-heal. They're not taught that half the problems that you're having is inflammation in your pelvis. And as we learn in the, the Dr. Wolf and taking the classes, is that 99.9% of the people out there are pooping in their pelvis.
Exactly. And that's what we wanted to call this.
Right?
Are you pooping in your pelvis and you just don't know it?
That's
right? That, and I can wholeheartedly say that I know all the surgeries that I had in the pelvic area, and the final one was a hysterectomy. I just right around 40. I can't remember for sure. And it was because I had a fibroid. And I worked with a naturopath for 2.5 years. And at the end of it, it was, no, you have to have a complete hysterectomy. What we're doing is not working, right? And that was from a naturopath. Because I thought, I knew deep inside that there should be a way for me to be able to rectify this problem. But I couldn't find the solution, not back then. At least now, we've got the answers. We know what works. And when I went in for the surgery, you sign off on the paper saying the doctor gets to do whatever he wants to do to make sure the surgery goes well. Well, when I woke up after the surgery, I was told he took my cervix too, just in case, because I could get cervical cancer. So I wasn't counting on that, I knew I was getting the hysterectomy, but I wasn't counting on anything else, and I signed it.
Because you didn't know any better. And we have abdicated our power to doctors because we've all been indoctrinated into the medical system because doctors went to school for 8 years. They're supposed to be the smartest people on the planet, and they're supposed to have your best interest at heart. And I'm not making them wrong. They actually don't know either. And this is what their solution is to, projected solutions to anything that can come up. And of course, regardless of whether you've had a hysterectomy, regardless of any of those things, the energy of those organs still exist here. There's still an energy, you still cycle. You still have all of the same hormonal things going on that you did before. And it's just,
it's kind of like those phantom pains when someone has a limb taken away.
Yes.
It's the energy body is there. The energy body never leaves the body. And can you have good results even if you had a hysterectomy? You bet you can. How many women go in and have a hysterectomy and then a few years later, there are bits and pieces falling out of the vagina. They've got prolapse. And it kind of stands to reason when you're missing a part, there is something that's not quite right. And then let alone the scar tissue that you've got there.
Yes.
Which makes things shift. And you still don't know that you're pooping in your pelvis, which just exasperates the problem. So maybe we should talk a little bit about pooping in your pelvis
and what that actually means. So the first time I heard it, I'm having a visual in my head that somehow the poop is how could my poop get into the cavities down there and be causing all those problems? Because I really didn't understand. But most of us have a diet that is highly inflammatory. And so what this does is those tissues are, you're eating food that's putrefying. And that putrefaction is making fungus and yeast and all these other things down there that then start to, because they're very acidic, bore little holes through the intestinal walls. And then, yes, poop, that seepage is really getting into the body cavity. And it gets onto the organs, everything and your pelvis is the cradle for a lot of important organs here. You've got your bladder, you have your uterus, you have your ovaries.
It's all right down there, right down in the bottom of the pelvic bowl.
This is right. And if you've been pooping in your pelvis, then it's sitting in a manure pile. So that your body's got to respond to that. It wants to help you. So it's going to then start doing things like leaching the calcium out of your blood and then your bones to try to encapsulate it. And then your tissues become less and less, they get dehydrated. And soon they turn into beef jerky. And this beef jerky is then turning into your fibroids and all the other things that will develop naturally as the body is trying to help you, right? So what we teach people is how do you stop that inflammation? And how do you reverse that process? Because yes, you can. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. You didn't get into this position overnight. And we live in a society where everybody wants a quick fix.
It's true.
It is so true. And that's not where real healing comes from. As we all know, if you get a cut on your hand, nobody thinks, oh, it's going to be gone by tomorrow. We have patience for things that, seem very normal, but for the big things that are going to require a little bit longer time, isn't it worth it though? What is 6 months to a year of putting massive personal action into taking your health back versus being on prescription drugs and then more drugs after that? And now it's become commonplace that women can then elect to have a C-section.
Yeah.
As if they're pushing that because they need more surgeries, and they don't explain to women that this area, when we have any kind of cuts or scar, the scar tissue grows exponentially. It's going to attach to your hip bones. It's going to attach to your spine. It's going to encapsulate and pull on your organs. So much happens. And then that scar tissue pulls down. And that's what causes lots of the prolapsing and other things that happen in our pelvic region.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I was 18, I had my first pelvic surgery and they removed ovarian tumors. They removed one ovary completely and just left a trace of the other one, telling me I would never have kids. And they only left a trace so I would have a sex drive. And I was 18. I was 18. And I remember after the surgery, it felt like I had a 2x4 in there. It was like, it was hip to hip. And it just felt like when I was walking, it was so tight and nothing felt good.
And especially at 18, you still had so much more growing to do and maturing and developing hormonally.
Exactly. And up until that point, my periods were heavy. They were long. I was anemic. I was put on iron, which, by the way,
causes constipation.
Because I was anemic. I don't know why they just didn't say, hey, there's this, and this that's really high in iron. And then maybe you should drink more water,
right? But they're still doing that today. I still have women that come to me because they're looking for a way to get better without having to have more surgery. And that's what the doctors are telling them. Well, you're bleeding too heavy. You need to be on iron. You're anemic. You need a complete hysterectomy. I go, this is still happening today. And it just blew my mind. And I said, well, then of course they're going to go take something for the constipation, which is then going to create diarrhea. And you still haven't addressed the inflammation that you're continuing to create in your pelvis, which is exacerbating the problem, creating more leakage into the pelvic area, which then makes it worse and worse. And so they get discouraged and women become depressed. And it's like, this is what I have to do and suffer with the rest of my life.
Well, no, that's what we're told.
I know.
This is your lot in life. Is it? Is it really? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I know
so.
This does not have to be your lot in life. We can change that cycle. We can educate ourselves first and start really coming back to our body and loving it and taking care of it and nurturing it and loving every bit and piece of it.
Oh, I believe that too. And I remember thinking to myself, because this is what everybody told me, once you have children, you're not going to be able to jump on a trampoline or do any kind of jumping exercises or run or do anything like that, because every time you sneeze or cough, you're going to leak a little. Well, that is exactly what happened, because 4 children, all 18 months apart, things got really, and I didn't do what I should have done, is not get up right after having a baby, start vacuuming my house and cleaning it, because that was my value. Look, I can just plow through it. I can have this baby. I can get back to work. I am not one of those, right? And how crazy is that? You need a solid 6 to 8 weeks to let your body heal. You're still having contractions. The uterus is still trying to get small again, after you've done that, even when you're nursing. And so women are rushed back to work. They're trying to pump from their breasts. They're doing all these things because of the society and the world that we're living in today and the cost of living. It's almost like there isn't somebody out there supporting us to know how to take care of ourselves. I don't leak anymore. There is no such thing as bladder incontinence that has to stay unless you've had some sort of surgery or something that's going to create it for the rest of your life. But that doesn't mean you still can't be pain-free and be able to take care of it and keep it clean so that there isn't more issues. And so
that's why Dr. Wolf created this course.
yes,
You know, I spent a lot of time creating our workbook, which
I didn't bring it.
neither did I. Oops. But you do get a workbook with the pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass, because you know what? It's only 3 days.
Yes.
And yes, you're going to have results in 3 days, but you need to be able to go home with all the information that you've been taught and continue it, because that's where you're going to get the permanent results. You know, it's such a beautiful thing to watch with how when women get together, it's kind of like the red tent.
Yes.
You know, I know a little bit about something that I'm going to share. She knows a little bit about something that she's going to share, and it kind of goes around and we all get educated, you know.
And women supporting women is a very powerful thing. Somehow through the years, especially even when I was in high school, even there was such a separation from women. We were taught to be in competition with each other instead of supporting each other, loving each other, and being there. Because when you start on this journey and you're doing all these things in the beginning, it feels like a lot. And we need that support. And we offer that support. When you come to these courses, we don't just drop kick you out the door and say, thanks for coming. We have wonderful talks that we do in private. In other words, you have to have taken the course to be on these private talks with Lorraine and I every other Thursday. And we're there to support you, to give you that encouragement, to talk about if you forgot how to do a certain exercise, or maybe you can't remember how to use the yoni egg just right. Besides having this booklet, we're there to help and support. Because how long does it take to make it a habit?
33 days.
33 days for something to become a habit, right? And so if you look and see how you've been loving yourself in the past, here's an opportunity to really be in self-love and commit to that 33 days, because it really isn't that much. We're talking an hour of power of your time, an hour to love yourself. And even though this class is for women, the vaginal infusions that we teach women, which helps to really get in there clean and heal it, isn't just for women, it's for men too. So you know your husband, you can be intimate. My husband and I do them together.
I think that's great.
It is great. And he just can't wait. He's like, okay, honey, you got to get home. It's really boring to do my infusions by myself. So at any age, and you can make it fun. And yes, men need to be doing this too, because most men, by the time they hit their 50s, are having to already have prostate problems, or also bladder incontinence, or having to get up and urinate constantly, or even erectile dysfunction. All of these things are also happening because they're pooping in their pelvis. And if it's sitting in the manure pile, it's not going to function properly. It's going to build up the calcification. It's going to build up the scar tissue. It's going to make the beef jerky, you know.
It's going to be inflamed.
It's going to be inflamed, and it's going to be painful.
Tissue rot.
And then your hips start to hurt and your lower back starts to hurt. Remember, this is all
degeneration in the back.
It's
you know, and then before long, you need to have a hip replacement. Yes, you heard that right. A hip replacement, because you're pooping in your pelvis. I mean, you can get breast cancer for pooping in your pelvis. You can get gum disease,
yes,
from pooping in your pelvis. Have you ever been on a farm and there is a manure pile, and the farmer puts the pitchfork in there and he turns it over and it steams?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? This is an abdominal cavity. There's space in there. And manure, when it's gurgling and making all the bugs, because that's what it's going to do, it's going to give off gas.
Yes, it is.
It can cause eye problems. It can cause brain problems, because this rises. And we need to be able to get in there. We need to be able to understand that it is not leaky gut. That's what the medical system would say. And yes, your large intestine is part of your digestive tract. It's leaky large intestine.
Yes.
And like Cheryl said, anything transitioning through that large intestine has the opportunity to drop through the holes that were drilled there by the fungus. The fungus are the worst predators because they're the ones that make the holes. And now it's like a screen door on a submarine. It doesn't, you're not gonna stop anything from falling out of that. So we've got to take massive personal action. So the first thing you can do is number one, download that PDG free and start learning what you need to do to change your health. If you're in a health crisis, you have to get on a keto, plant-based, intermittent fasting protocol.
Yes.
Because we want to be able to support the body and raise the body's vibration.
So maybe people don't understand what PDG is. It's the perfect day guide. So this is going to tell you how to have the perfect day. You want to live to 100? You got to have a perfect day. And so people don't realize that the food that you've been eating and the way you combine the foods that you're eating make it almost impossible for your body to digest it. So that's why the manure pile happens and it starts to build up. And then people will vacillate between constipation and diarrhea. And even when you're having diarrhea does not mean you're not constipated. And if you're not having these nice, big, fluffy, wonderful stools, and you're getting these tiny little things, then you can imagine the amount of dried on fecal matter and waste that's sitting and stuck to the sides of your intestines.
Well, when you think of that little nugget that's coming out, it used to be
right
6 or 7 inches.
And now, and you're not, if you got little rabbit pellets, you're in trouble.
So not a rabbit.
That's right. And you know, people in the diets and fast food and all the foods that we're eating are literally what's causing the issues and the problems. And we live in a society now where everybody's working 8, 10, 12 hours a day, running outside, running down the street, getting a submarine sandwich, getting, you know, they're less and less salads, less and less organic foods. And there's no way your body can break that down and digest it. Maybe when you're young, you can get away with it because you have a lot of that, you know, human growth hormone and things are breaking down. But as we get older and you're putting that kind of stress on your intestines, it's no different than a car engine. If you're not changing the oil and you're not keeping it clean, then eventually it's gonna stop.
Exactly. So you want to come back to loving your body and giving it the high vibrational plant-based diet. Because when we look at fruits and vegetables, fruits typically have a higher vibration than vegetables, but we need the grounding of the vegetables too.
Yes.
And vegetables still are high vibration. Don't get me wrong. And when we look at sprouts, man, they're the babies. They are jumping for joy. They have so much energy and vibration. Put them on everything. Throw it in your smoothie. Put it on your salads. Put it on everything that you're eating. Snack it.
Put them on my, if I have an egg or an omelet, I put it on everything. And I grow my own. Do you realize it only takes 3 days to make your own sprouts? So I have jars and I always have one growing and one ready to eat, one growing, one ready to eat because they're that delicious. And now you can get them anywhere. You can get your sprouting trays, your sprouting jars. They have organic seeds that you can buy because that's how important it is. Or your microgreens. Yeah. You know, you can go to the store and get those microgreens. You know, you get the baby broccoli, or you can get like the salad mix. You can get the spicy radish microgreens. All of those are so high frequency and so vibrant and so full of the things that your body needs. So it's called educating yourself, right? So we're teaching the pelvic restoration masterclass because it's really important to us, especially as women, to help and teach women how to take their lives back, to get pain-free, to become vibrant, to get your sex, get your groove back. I know there's been movies made about it, right? You know how to get your groove back. We're going to show you how to do it. But at the same time, we're also going to teach you about the Holy Grail. We're going to teach you about the highway to heaven and how to create that heaven inside of yourself. You know, and it is more than just coming. You have to learn how to re-eat, to to nourish yourself properly.
Well,
Okay,
nourish instead of just feed.
exactly. You're not just shoveling food in. What is it the doc always says? You want to chew your liquids and drink your solids. So if you ever go someplace and watch people eat in America, they're just like, they're just shoveling it in. Nobody's actually chewing. Digestion starts here in our mouths. And so you should chew until you can't chew anymore before you swallow. You wouldn't eat near as much because you'd be exhausted halfway through the huge plates they give you in the restaurants. Just because your body doesn't need it. It takes 20 minutes for that brain connection from your mouth to your brain to say, I'm full. If you're shoveling in 2 meals worth of food in before that 20 minutes is up, then your brain isn't telling you that you were done already.
And then when it does, it says, oh my gosh.
So, I don't care if you're a man or woman. I hear the complaints all the time. My goodness, the gas. I can't go anywhere. I sound like a, Rudy Toot Toot train, especially after I eat. And it just blows my mind.
It's not the beans, ladies.
It's not the beans.
And gentlemen.
So
it's not the beans.
That's your manure pile gassing up and gassing out. And if your poops require you to open a door, turn on the fan, spray the bathroom, that's not normal. Okay.
Yeah. If they stink, no,
No.
it's something putrefied.
Exactly right. So when you're eating healthy and you're eliminating on a regular basis, believe it or not, my poop don't stink. It may not smell like roses, but it don't stink.
Exactly. And we can be really proud of that.
Yes, we can, because I did take massive personal action and it did change my life. And some of the side benefits, besides getting amazingly healthy and stuff, is you will lose weight. You'll get rid of the extra water weight and all the other stuff that your body's been carrying. And your body doesn't know what to do with this waste pile except turn it into excess fat that hopefully you might use later. And so this is what happens. And and toxins exist in fat. Toxins exist in fat and scar tissue. So think about that. If your body is full of scar tissue, there's toxins in that. It's time to break it up. There is, besides our wonderful way to eat and all the things we're going to teach you, there's also other modalities like the Wolf non-surgical, other things that you can do. We're going to teach you belly button therapy. We're going to teach you amazing exercises. I mean, you're going to leave with so many tools that you'll be so excited to go home. And we have so many amazing testimonial stories about women's lives that have been changed. And in 3 days,
exactly.
And then you go home and you keep doing it.
Exactly. Because like I said, well, I didn't say this earlier, but Rome wasn't built in 3 days.
Right.
It just wasn't. And you didn't get to the condition you are in 3 days. So you cannot expect that your body is going to change that quick. Will you have success? You bet you're going to
Feel the difference.
Feeling so much lighter than when you came. And it's because we're teaching you how to connect to all of the pelvic region, all of the organs, whether they're there or not. And then really bring the light, the energy from everywhere, from here, from the other ladies. It's such a beautiful thing to do.
Because we are light energy beings, and being able to line yourself and raise your frequency. And, it's magic. I mean, we have the tools. You are completely capable as this whole and perfect, gorgeous human being to be able to do this. And women, you're beautiful. You're absolutely amazing. You're phenomenal. And if nobody's told you that lately, we're going to teach you how to say it to yourself, because self-love is self-healing. And we haven't been taught that. We haven't been taught to look in a mirror and go, I love you. Because we were taught to look outside of ourselves because they were taught to look outside themselves. So now they're looking to you to affirm their lovability. So this is what we are taught ad nauseum, generation after generation.
You shouldn't be comparing yourself to anybody
Ever.
but the self that you were a second ago.
That's it.
And what is my goal? To be better than I was 1 second ago. and to be healthier than I was 1 second ago. And it really is baby steps in the right direction. If you can do 1% change today and 1% change tomorrow, well, in 100 days, you've got 100%. You're done.
Right?
Now, does that mean you drop everything? No, it means that you have developed a lifestyle that is supporting your body. And that's what we want. We want to be able to support our body. And us as women, as moms, we want to be able to share that information. And I don't know, my kids are growing up now, so I've got to lead by example. And if they see something, they're going to ask me, right? You know, I'm staying at my daughter's place in Calgary, and absolutely everybody is on the nutraceuticals. Now, I didn't say anything. I just had them up there in the cupboard. And then when somebody had tummy issues after they ate, digestive enzymes, when somebody wasn't pooping right, daily cleansing tea, when somebody's hormones were off, that would be the black gold, the black diamond. You know, it's just baby steps in the right direction. If you're highly inflamed, then you want the curcumin cayenne 5000 plus. Like, really, let's bring these high vibrational nutraceuticals into our regime, because there's no way nowadays, there's absolutely no way that you can get healthy just by eating. I went back to school and got educated as a holistic nutritionist, thinking there was a way that I could eat my way to health. I did lots of super foods, thinking that that was going to get me there, and it did not.
Yeah.
Did I feel a bit better? Yeah, I did. But did I get to where I even am now? No, I didn't. You know, and I was working with clients, and I couldn't get them there either. You know, I was definitely better than I was before, but I wasn't where I wanted to be.
Mm-mm.
And it wasn't until I started looking at Dr. Wolf. The first product I brought in was the black gold. And I knew I had leaky gut. I had no idea I had leaky large intestine.
Right.
But and I had some hormone problems, and the biggest one for me is I had heavy metals, and I had a biofeedback machine, so I could check it out, what's going on, and those heavy metals, they would come down a teeny bit, but they were still way too high. And it was the black gold that brought that down, you know, and hormonal balance. After my hysterectomy, I was told I needed to go on estrogen, and I went on the estrogen for about 5 days. That's about it. I couldn't stomach it. I could not. I was throwing up all the time, and it was directly related to that little yellow pill that I was taking.
Well, that's what I mean. They come in and they start messing with Mother Nature, right? These children, I mean, young girls are put on birth control pills at a very young age. They want to regulate your period. They actually give them the pill that you take once a year, and they don't have a period. I mean, they're like, well, they might be sexually promiscuous. Well, if you give them these pills at 9 and 10 years old, I guess that now that's in their minds or thoughts, and we're forcing these girls to grow up so fast before they even understand. And it's like, we need to get back out there and love each other and love ourselves as women and support ourselves as women to get back to that place where we knew how to take care of ourselves, and we supported ourselves and took care of ourselves. And we learned to say, I put myself first before anyone else or anything else. Because just like when you're in that plane and they tell you got to put your own oxygen mask first before you help your child, that's the absolute truth. Because as women, we are the mothers, and we are now passing on our knowledge and our energy. If we're tired, if we're depressed, if we're angry, if we're irritable and we're in pain, are we going, hi, honey? We're not. We end up with zero patience. Where's my husband? Why isn't he here to help me? And then instead of being in this joyful, amazing state of motherhood, we're in complete frustration. Not all the time. We have those moments where we're all just fall in love and remember why we decided to be mothers. But you know, I thought just like Lorraine, I did all kinds of stuff. Even when I was in college, I'm sprouting my own sprouts and making my own bread and doing all this stuff. I thought doing superfoods and, the Klamath Lake Falls, blue algae. I mean, you couldn't believe all the things that I would take. And then after a while, it was like my body became toxic to all those things. And then you have to stop it. And it would be like a diet. It would be like, and remember what diet stands for. So I wasn't
Diet.
thriving, and I get to see all my friends around me looking for like, oh, if I just lose weight, it'll take care of some of these issues. And so it's like one yo-yo diet after another. And then the discouragement and the depression that would set in. And women, whether you're overweight or underweight, it doesn't matter. If you have these issues, it means you're still inflamed. And if you're really, really thin and undernourished, same thing. Your body is not able to absorb the nutrients that you're putting in it. And so let's come back together. Let's learn together how to feed to live, feed to thrive, right? This isn't just, feed to fill my stomach because I went all day without eating. I didn't drink any water. All I did was drink coffee from the coffee pot at the office. Now my stomach is a cesspool of acid and I feel awful. So I'm going to go home and find whatever I can as soon as I walk in the door. And it's not going to be the best stuff. I'm grabbing the bag of chips, the tortillas, the whatever I can get.
The fast food.
The fast food. And there's ways to prepare. There's ways to get ready. There's ways to make it easier for yourself so that when you come home, it only takes 5 minutes to put a healthy salad together. And even though you think to yourself, salad, I'm so hungry, right? Eat that salad, chew it till it turns to liquid in your mouth. And then if you're still hungry after that salad, go back in, bake a potato, do whatever it is. But you see what I'm saying is that you have to reteach your body. You have to reteach your mind. You have to allow yourself and be patient so that you can self-heal. And your body is this amazing tool. When you're in pain, it doesn't say, quick, go get a pill so you're not in pain. It says, hello, pay attention. If your hip is hurting, there's a reason. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's that pooping in your pelvis, just like Elvis.
And we all know the Elvis story.
Yes.
And that is, it's sad. What did they?
60 pounds.
60 pounds
60
of fecal matter was in his gut when they did the autopsy on him. I just, oh God.
No wonder he couldn't shake.
Yeah, not only couldn't shake, he looked awful at the end. And he was in absolute pain all the time. And so what does someone do? So I can get back out there and perform? I need to take pain meds or other medications. And that just exacerbated the dehydration and all the other stuff that was going on. And woof.
Well, yeah, you watch the commercials on medications and the last thing is always death. It's
right?
Like, okay.
The side effects.
Oh, I want to take that one. No, I don't.
And
I don't.
I'm going to give you something for your depression. And one of the side effects is depression. I'm like, huh?
How does that work?
Right? Or I'm going to give you something for diabetes, but it gives you anal leakage, and so you're looking at these things because we're all looking for a quick fix rather than change our diets, rather than relearn how to nourish ourselves. So that's where the massive personal action comes in, because you have to change a lifetime of some really bad habits. Right?
And it's not your fault.
It is not.
We've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. When my kids were little, I thought that everything in the grocery store had been stamped. Someone put that stamp on there and said, yeah, you can eat this. You can eat as much as you want.
So good for you.
Yeah. And I did some research when I was taking my holistic nutrition, and I was really fascinated about the commercials they had for refined sugar.
Yeah.
And that was in the late 40s, early 50s. White refined sugar. They would show, there was a lady sitting and she had her cup of coffee and there was a chocolate bar or an apple. And the caption was, refined sugar will give you energy quick.
Good grief.
So pick the chocolate bar. Another commercial showed kids coming home from school and moms just handing them the chocolate bars.
Wow.
And that's what they thought. I remember too, when I was a young girl, we understood that sugar had no fat.
That's right. So you
Yeah.
can't get fat eating sugar,
Yeah,
right?
no, ruled, schooled, and fooled again. You know, refined sugar is toxic to our body.
It is.
Anything toxic going in our body doesn't know what to do with it. It does its best to pull from the reserves, but if my energy level is way down, I got no reserves.
Right.
So what my body does is it creates another fat cell and it says, here, fat cell, take this toxic and encapsulate it and hold it. And I don't know what else we can do with it because we can't get rid of it.
Right. And then it has to turn into cellulite because the more that gets stacked together, the less circulation is getting between those cells. And, women have a propensity to put it on easy, faster and easier than men because women are curvaceous and we have more fat cells. And remember someone told me, you only have this many fat cells when you're born. So if you get rid of them, you'll be fine. So women go in and get liposuction and they get rid of these fat cells like it's going to get, help. Hello.
If you happen to address what's going in here,
it's not
it's coming back. It's coming back. If that lifestyle hasn't changed, it's coming back. There is so much misinformation out there.
There really is. And I will be forever grateful for following my intuition and coming and taking the whole life coach. And then, of course, I had to take the Wolf Non-Surgical only because that's what I do. I am a body worker. I am now a master practitioner and passionate about this because I see the results that people get. I watch the clients that come to me that within 3 or 4 months are living an entirely different life that they didn't even know was possible. They were absolutely on the pain train. I'm just always going to have to suffer with this. I don't want a hip replacement, but I'll just hobble along. I have guys that come in that have frozen shoulders, from working in construction and doing other things, and they can't get rid of it no matter what they do. And I'm looking at their diets when they tell me, and I go, well, you're throwing gasoline on the fire of, inflammation. I'm going to get you some relief right now so you can move that shoulder. But how about we do a long-term goal? And a lot of it is cultural. And I know when I grew up in Newfoundland, Canada, there was fish and brews. Let me tell you, we were eating that hardtack on a regular basis, and then we were also eating lots of meat. We had lamb. It was like we ate a lot of sheep, we ate a lot of lamb. We didn't eat a lot of cow's milk because there wasn't a lot, but we had a lot of sheep milk. And do you realize that we are the only mammals on the planet that drink another animal's milk? And we make milk for our babies because this is the milk they need. And then we're spoon fed on TV, the milk, from the milk industry.
Producers.
Yeah. And, cows have the largest molecule, 20 times the size of what we're able to digest. So it doesn't matter what form that milk comes in. Okay. You can't digest it. It can only create inflammation. It does not give you calcium. It does not build your bones. And all the other things they tell you. In fact, because of the inflammation that it does cause, it leaches calcium from your bones. And I know a lot of people who are like pregnant women shoveling that yogurt in and shoveling in the kefir and shoveling in the, milk. And they use organic and grass-fed, which, yes, that is at least better if you're going to put milk in your body and you're not getting all the hormones that are going into the other milk products. But it's like the commercials are always fast food. Do you ever see a commercial for an organic restaurant?
Or a place where you can get a salad?
Exactly. Very few, right? And then you get the milk commercials are constant. And then they make them cutesy because, they're outstanding in their field. It becomes commonplace. And if milk is the fire, then cheese is the bomb, right? And so cheese, in all its fame, especially the harder cheeses. And then I often look at the stinky cheese, the moldy cheese, and I'm thinking people are putting mold in their bodies.
Exactly.
And they've learned to like it. Now, once you get into really great health, is going out and having that once in a while a big deal? No, it's not. Because you now have a body that can actually eliminate and be able to take care of itself because you know how to eat that. You know what to take after you eat it. You know how to support your body to do it so that you can have those foods that you do enjoy. We're not telling you you can never eat meat or do any of those things again, but let's do it with some intelligence and some smarts and some learning so that you're supporting your body to,
And it'll get digested,
that's right.
you know, so if you're drinking milk, eating something that has cheese or even meat, you need something to help digest that. There's just no way that your body's going to digest it. It just can't. Younger people, they can pull from their
Yeah.
reserves because they still have what
A
mom
lot of
gave them,
reserves,
right?
that's right.
But older people, us, no, we really, no, our bank is usually by this time, by the time you're my age, it's in the negative. Matter of fact, it's so negative that your your life is in the negative. And I'm saying that in a most loving way because
Yes.
it's not your fault again, you know, because you can't do better until you know better. So come and learn with us. You know, spend some time on the DACA Detox library. So DACAdetox.com/library or DACAdetoxlibrary.com. And
Yes.
just start looking at the information that draws your attention. Maybe Highway to Health, that's a great one. Or Holy Grail. The large intestine is the Holy Grail.
Yes.
No, holy crap. That's what
Right,
it's called.
that's called holy crap.
Yeah.
Being number one at number two.
Yes, at the art of number two, because
That's
there
right.
is an art to
There
it.
is an art to it. And, you know, we're going to keep doing these talks. We're going to do it. We're going to keep trying to reach out to everybody. And we would like to see every woman on the planet take this pelvic restoration course. And through braveheartnation.com, you can go and find out every place it's being offered. And we will always be advertising it. We will let you know when the courses are coming. We are just full now here at Stewart, right? So
Yeah,
we
our
filled up,
class is
we
full.
filled up our class.
Thank you so much.
And it was just awesome. We're very excited. And we do keep it to a small number of women because this is an intimate setting. We're not going to have 35 women in a room. We cap it at 12 so that you get this one-on-one with Lorraine and I. You get to have that time, and everybody has that intimacy and time to learn the techniques and to understand what we're saying. And then we give you all these tools when you leave. That pdgfree.com and get the perfect day guide is over 500 pages. It addresses every issue you could possibly imagine. It goes through all the nutraceuticals that he offers, and they are the very best there is to offer on the planet right now, are
Absolutely.
these nutraceuticals. He is adamant about finding the best. He continually is looking for that much better, always pushing the envelope, always going further, because life is about the journey to constantly push ourselves to do more, to be better. And that doesn't mean you run out and do a bunch of different jobs. It means that I'm willing to do whatever it takes so that I stay in the greatest health because I want to be around for my great-grandchildren or maybe my great-great-grandchildren.
You know, our greatest asset is our health.
Yes, it is.
You can have all the wealth in the world, but if you don't have your health,
What are you going to do?
yeah,
You can't even enjoy the money you're making.
that's right.
Right.
That's right. So let's get back to basics. What is most important? When are you going to be the one who's most important? When are you going to step up and start learning what you need to learn to bring your body back into health? I don't care what disease, what condition, what stage, there is a choice. You have a choice, and your body knows how to heal. And your belief system is way up there too, because I counsel people all over the world. And the ones who get the results anchor solid on all four of the pillars.
Yes.
So the lifestyle, the diet, the exercises, the nutraceuticals, which are high vibrational, all of them, and the Braveheart emotional work.
Yes.
The ones that do all four of those are the ones that get the results. And then I get calls from people and they say, you know what, I've been doing this for a half a year, and yeah, I feel a little bit better, but I really wanted to get rid of XYZ and it's still with me. And then I have to be a detective and find out what exactly are they doing. And half the time they aren't doing the protocol quite right. And for sure they're not doing the inner work. That coconut has to be cracked from the inside out. This is an inside job. And if you're not doing that work, you'll only get so far.
That's true. I don't know if anybody's asking us questions.
No. But you know what? I think we're pretty close to our time. We are.
Yeah, okay.
So I was asked to do at least 45 minutes and we've gone longer than that.
See, once we get going and rambling.
Just ramble on. And like Cheryl said, it wasn't rambling.
No.
This is our passion. This is my purpose.
Yes,
Cheryl feels the same.
I do.
You know, we are so passionate about getting this information out and helping others to regain their health, because there is no time better than the present.
Right now.
Yeah.
There is only now. And every now you get to make a choice.
And it's called the present because it is a present.
That's so
You know,
true.
It's our gift. And when we can take action in that presence, that's
right.
when the magic happens. That's when the body responds and says, oh my gosh, I've been waiting so long for you to come back and really honor me. Thank you. Thank you for,
thank you.
Yes.
So just in closing, even though Stuart is full, we will be in Coffs Harbour, Australia, the end of August, right?
That's right. And the last day is the 1st of September.
Right.
So
it's
the
just that last
2
week.
days. Yeah, last weekend in August. And of course, there's the whole life coach first, the Wolf non-surgical, and then we come in at the end for the women's pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass.
And then again, all three will be offered in Extapa.
There we go.
That's right. And so that will be the end of October, beginning of November. And all the courses will be offered there as well. And that will end 2024. And then if you go to Braveheart Nation, they will also have 2025 on there. So, you know, start now.
And there is lots of lectures happening in Australia.
Yes.
And Dr. Sage Wolf is going to be in Toronto the end of July, beginning of August, doing non-surgical. So you can give him a direct call. Rafa, could you put up that slide so people can grab the phone number
for Sage? And I know he's booking up fast.
Yeah. So if you want to get him to do some non-surgical for you, now would be the time to get that booked, because like Cheryl said, he is booking up fast.
Yeah, I think when I had talked to him last time, he had three sections or 3 slots left. And I thought, wow, he's that good. You know,
Yeah.
One day I'm going to be that good, Sage.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyhow, maybe we should just end with the Braveheart oath.
All right.
Okay.
I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will always trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Just know we love you.
Good night.
There it is.
There